New Zealand! Level 3 New Zealand! Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Level 3 New Zealand on the Daily Debrief. Hello to everyone joining us for the first time this week, and hello to our new friend Zoe. Look, we've got lots of fun things coming up on the show today. We've got Mark Peard and, of course, Blake Ashford here with us, and I'm Nato. And coming up, we have a myriad guests for you. We've got Corey Gonzalez who's coming on. He's actually going to be our Today reporter because he's going to report on the biggest story in New Zealand today. Also, Jimmy Neesham coming up just after 9 o'clock to talk about cricket, the life of a travelling cricketer when there is no cricket to travel to. And also, Shiraz Soysa is back with us. He's going to be talking about the NFL draft, of course, which happened on the weekend when we get back to our winners and losers. But it is April the 28th today. And you guys remember why the 28th of April is a cool one, eh? Cool
Sure do, mate.
Yeah, mate. That's right. Because on this day in 1887, the first automobile race was won by Georges Bouton. It went 2 kilometres from the Neuilly Bridge to Bois de Boulogne.
He's from France, isn't he?
He is,
France?
Yeah, he was actually also the only competitor, but he won. So congratulations to him on this day in 1887. And what about you, Blake? You got something?
I've just been monitoring. Yeah, just been watching a bit of. There's not too much sports going on, but just monitored a little bit of behaviour happening. Yes. And obviously the hands can't work, but you can see it. And we've seen the Fox and Latrell Mitchell. They were just a little bit silly.
Yes,
just going together. But then my thing caught my eye today. Nathan Cleary was more of a, come on, mate. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got 5 birds at your house Anzac Day. You don't invite the boys over. A bit selfish and a bit risky. So that's your day in sports behaviour report. We'll get back with you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Blake Ashford live from the sports behaviour report desk there. That currently NRL is, what is it? Come on, mate. Is where we're sitting there in the behaviour in there.
Sorry,
now we need to resurrect a great thing here. Mark Peard, can you give me a bad dad joke of the day?
I'm glad you asked, Nate, as I panicked because Aiden just texted me and said, hey, FYI is still showing Friday night's lineup on the show. I'll fix that mid-show. You watch how I do this. Shiraz, who we're going to be talking to shortly,
he's still
on, so he's good. But we'll move Chris Key out of there, get our headlines put up near the middle, and that'll happen during the show. But your bad dad joke of the day, and make sure you use these because God knows you need some bad dad jokes in the middle of lockdown while people are really annoyed at you. How come the stadium got hot after the game?
I don't know, Mark. How come the stadium got hot after the game?
Because all of the fans left. Blake, you fucking
I tried to find you some laughter and applause, but it didn't happen. But Shiraz has been to... I've got to get my soundboard.
Shiraz wasn't happy with that.
Yeah, Shiraz wasn't happy with that.
You shut your mouth, Shiraz. You run one over the middle. I'll come at you with one of these. Over the top. Over the top.
I think I've got a bit of work to do on my dad jokes to catch up to you there, Mark.
But that's good. No, so we're all in this together. So, obviously, mate, our Friday, we're doing the post one of that appeared.
Yeah, I promised people that we would have Shiraz back on because, of course, we had done the first round of the NFL draft, the 2020 NFL.
Oh God, are we doing all 8 rounds?
We're not going to do all 8 rounds because, to be fair, I can't actually handle all those numbers and people. And I love the NFL, but I don't go as deep as some people who will know all the college players who have come in and what teams have got better. So I want to keep it real simple. If that's all right with you, Shiraz, can you simplify yourself so that it suits me? Are you able to tell me who won the 2020 NFL draft?
Well, look, if we go to who won, I'm going to have to reluctantly pick the Denver Broncos here. They're in a really tough division. They've got to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. Right, and there's a lot of offensive firepower. So they thought about 2 ways. They'll go, do we either bolster up our defense to try and stop them, or do we just attack the offense? And they went with the latter. They absolutely attacked their offense. They picked up Jerry Jeudy at number 15, which is phenomenal value, and they just doubled down with just value after value. They got KJ Hamler, they got Albert O, and they've got a number of big pieces. Only question is, have they fixed the offensive line? But for me, the winners are the Denver Broncos for this draft.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Well, we'll go around the room and find out how our teams did. What about the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah. So, look, rather than just give them a regular grading of an A or whatever else Mel Kiper does, I thought I'll change it up a little bit. I'm going to.
So this is Peard's team. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So this is Mark Peard's team. I'm going to give everyone's rating in terms of a car they bought. Carolina Panthers. They've got a solid offense. They've got probably the best running back. Well, they've got
Christian McCaffrey, easily
the
best running back.
They picked up Teddy Bridgewater, not Teddy McCaffrey, Teddy Bridgewater in the offseason. They've got a quarterback who can hand the ball off to McCaffrey. What they really had to do is solidify that defense, right? So they were one of the worst teams in pass defense, and they went absolutely defense. I think they're the only team that only drafted defensive players. I'm going to give them the grade of a Volvo. They picked a very reliable and safe car because that's what this defense tells me. It's not flashy players. It's really solid, especially guys in the trenches that they picked up. They did pick up one flashy safety in Jeremy Chin, but otherwise safe, reliable. It's not going to break. It's not going to give you much problems, but it's not very flashy either.
And also the owners of it are sort of overly proud of themselves. So that's quite good as well.
Who are we going with?
Let's go with Blake and the Ravens. How did the Ravens? Who
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, so the Ravens are an interesting one. They were in the running for my draft of the week until the second round. I think the best draft. So the comparison I'm going to go with here is a Ford Ranger. Front half.
Love a good Ford.
It's quite a nice.
Front half is absolutely stacked. The back half's a bit empty. Right? So the first half of the draft with Patrick Queen, J.K. Dobbins, Justin Matabuike, and Devin Duvernay hit them out of the park. Phenomenal value. Patrick Queen, a prototypical linebacker in that defense that we talked about on Friday. But the pick I really loved is J.K. Dobbins. This guy is one of the best running backs in the draft. Run heavy game. He's going to be there for a good. He
was from Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So it comes from a winning program as well.
What about this guy?
Yeah.
Right. Now, okay, I'm just sitting on my super yacht here. Tell me about my Cowboys.
Yeah. So Dallas is interesting. They went in and they sort of. They were the ones who haggled at the shop, and they were about to walk away with a car, and then they were able to get an absolute steal and got a Corvette at a basement price. So they got a discount bargain there because they had a whole bunch of players who fell into their lap. Starting off with CD Lamb, probably the best receiver in the class, falling to them at 17. And picking up a whole bunch of values all the way through. They got Trayvon Diggs and Neville Gallimore for above value. And they were able to pick up Bradley and I later in the draft as well, who, again, shouldn't have been sitting there in the fifth round at all. So, again, they went in with a reasonable budget, but they picked up a discounted card that needed to go out the door. So
love it.
Great value.
That's the best draft wrap I've heard.
Now that all those teams are done, where do you think Cam Newton will finish? Where do you reckon he'll play?
Well, it's a bit of a shame he doesn't have a job at the moment because I still think he'll be in the upper tier of QBs in the NFL. Like, he had injuries to get over in the last year or two, but it's only 3 years ago that he was the MVP of the league.
So where do you think he'll land?
Where do I think he'll land? I think he should probably. I'd like him to go to somewhere like Miami and help out Tua. Bring someone like that along. But the reality is, I unfortunately see a scenario where he just doesn't get picked up.
Yeah, he's bad news, man. He is bad news. Yeah, I said it, Cam Newton. Bad news. Look, as much as he
was your guy,
he was
you had
my
to
guy.
love him.
I didn't used to love him. To be fair, I enjoyed my time with the Carolina Panthers when Jake Delhomme was in charge. Like, Jake used to just throw up some horrendous games, but man, he had some good ones as well. And I like that. Cam, that sulky Cam in the Super Bowl, where he fumbled the ball and let Von Miller absolutely dive in front of him, that hurt me a lot. I just felt like as good as he was and as great as he was with his legs, I always found like he couldn't take heat off the ball. Like, if there was players going over the middle and they were 10 yards away, he would absolutely fire it in, and the players, it wasn't even their fault that they dropped it because he just couldn't take the heat off the ball. And I don't think he's terribly accurate as well. I think most of that MVP year was all about his legs rather than his arm. Big arm, I'll give him that. But I'm quite happy with Teddy Bridgewater sitting behind the centre now. Happy.
Yeah, no, I agree with the fact his legs, but he's also quite a polarizing character. The media is going to follow him, and that's a lot of distraction.
I'm in shock.
As well.
I'm in shock. You just said nowhere. Like, I thought, he's good enough to get picked up. Former MVP.
He wants to still be a star, though, right? He's the type of player that wants to still be a star. But most teams kind of have either got a quarterback of the future that they'd be looking to try and have someone who'd come and encourage them to get better. Cam Newton's not that type of player. Well, it doesn't seem on the outside to be that kind of player. Someone who's going to come into a huddle and teach a young fella and say, see, this is what I see in this, and so I need to be doing that. And there's certain players, I reckon, in any sport that are that way inclined. They just...
speaking of someone who wants to mentor a young fella, I've got another example here of a draft grade that I've given a team.
Oh yes,
and that's the Green Bay Packers, and I know there's a lot of Green Bay Packers fans out there. So, and as a Bears fan, I had quite a lot of this brought a smile to my face to be able to give this grade out. But I actually think they had a reasonable draft, and this is what I'm going to say. They went ahead and they purchased a Tesla, but as you know, with Teslas, they don't arrive for a couple of years. So they've got their Tesla, but they're not going to get it for 2 years' time. Right? So I think in a couple of years' time, you'll look back at this draft and go, shit, that was a good draft. But I don't think right away they're going to see the benefits of it. And Aaron Rodgers definitely isn't going to see the benefit of it.
I like that.
But isn't that stupid, though? Isn't that stupid? Like, he's your one. Like, he's the one. He can win you a Super Bowl.
Absolutely, and it's driving the fan base absolutely insane at the moment because the ability to have it, the chance of being able to be in contention is so rare, and to be able to blow it on trying to, think a little bit further forward is something people don't actually understand.
Cowboys' offense is scary now, though.
We found it. It's the first one for the year, the highest rating. Green Bay Packers Association taking the piss.
Taking the piss.
Taking the piss.
Well, see, it's not just Jordan Love, it's AJ Dillon, and he's going to be a backup until Aaron Jones gets out of the way. They've probably got one of the best running backs in the league, as well as the best quarterback. And guess what? They go back and double up on both those positions.
Right, you guys, it's not all about us. Obviously, there's a lot of people who have messaged in wanting to know a little bit about their team. So, Shiraz, as we wait for Corey to call back, and he's going to give us an update from drive-through. Can I just ask, did anyone get takeaways today? Because, man, New Zealand lost it.
No, I'm saving them.
Let me guess. Sushi.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, sushi.
Nah, he'd already told me.
Which doesn't count.
Man, didn't New Zealand lose a shit? Sorry, I'm wasting your precious time. Lyle Pritchard wants to know Falcons. How do you reckon they did? He thought it maybe been an average draft.
Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of needs, which I don't think they necessarily addressed. AJ Terrell, for me, was a good player. It was a bit of a reach at the first pick. But look, I think they missed out a few. There was a lot of value on the board that they let slip to a few other teams. So again, look, a lot of these teams do their diligence on it, and they could work out, but they didn't really pick any big names that I thought were available at the time.
Take it from me too, from a NFL fantasy football tragic. How often you go into a draft with a strategy, and then all of a sudden that shit changes when someone else starts taking players in the category that you're actually after. So all of a sudden, a couple of tackles go off the board and you're like, oh, not in fantasy, but in real life. But you start getting into a panic and you're like, oh, God, we're going to have to go early on there. Therefore, we're leaving so much talent for the teams after us. And then you come to the Cowboys who just absolutely fall on gold by having all the receivers still left available.
Beautiful, and I think Atlanta fell into the trap of overdrafting cornerbacks because the run had already started. And that probably goes to what you were saying, Mark, is this run on corners started happening, or corners were sort of seen as pressures, even though the ratings of them weren't as high as the wide receivers. And as a result, they got overdrafted, compared to what their gradings were. Now, time will tell. But, yeah.
I've been an arsehole in fantasy leagues and only drafted quarterbacks straight away, so no one had quarterbacks. So I had a roster full of quarterbacks, and everyone had to have that. No one in the bye week. I ruined that league solely. What about this one? Matthew Baxter wants to know about his 49ers. Big backs!
Yeah, 49ers. Sorry, let me bring that. I can't quite remember their draft.
Remember Baxter? Yeah. He came on when he was talking about those basketball cards and stuff.
Look, we talked about it on Friday a little bit that they picked up Javon Kinlaw, and again, it's not a 49ers draft, but they'll pick up one of those big guys. A guy I really like that they picked up after him was Brandon Ayuk. Really fits that offense. He's the guy that'll get the ball into his hands on a quick pass, but he'll do the rest of the work getting past that. They didn't really have too many other picks beyond those 2 first rounders. They picked in the 5th round and the 6th later on, so I don't see a whole lot of value there, but those first two picks I think were quite good. They're a team that don't need to rebuild. They just need 1 or 2 more pieces, and I think they might have found them.
Nice. Tony Wilson wants to know about the Browns. We drafted well, I think. Got all the pieces we need. Super Bowl? Tony, are we thinking Super Bowl for the Browns?
Here's the way for the Browns.
Yeah, well, I think they got the best value at Jedrick Wills at number 10 at tackle. The guy was on some boards meant to be the best blindside left tackle in the league, but for him to fall at 10 was pretty good value. They've got a couple of good players. They've got Grant Delpit at number 2. A player I really like is Donovan Peoples-Jones.